how do I go back to church without worrying about scary or violent things happening to my family? That's a pretty specific question, so I'm going to give you the saga here. I live about an hour away from the church that was attacked in Grand Blanc, Michigan. And man, I thought I was too tired to cry, but it's too late again.
No, that's it was a scary thing for everybody.
Yeah. Man, it was scary because, and no religious violence isn't scary, but I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that isn't my building, but that's my church.
Yeah.
And I had been, in my church with my family that morning, and I just keep picturing, like, what would I have done with my children if that had happened to us? And I realized I don't know how to protect them from that. And I tell my 3-year-old every day, my job is to keep you safe, and that's what I want to do. And I don't know how to do that. And I want to go back to church. I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to let this stop me from living, but I also don't want to just, pretend it didn't happen or just, like nothing bad will ever happen to me, because it did happen to my friends' friends and my friends' family, and I'm trying to figure out how to go back to church and not put my head on a swivel.
Yeah. I guess the first thing I would tell you is I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It shouldn't happen like that. And you're not crazy.
Thanks.
I had a different but similar, when I dropped my daughter off at her small little Christian school here in town, the day that killer went and shot up the window while the kids were in mass during their school.
Yeah.
I sent my son to a Catholic school here in town. Like I had that very same, like, oh gosh, like that's off limits, right? That's the feeling I had. Like that all this violence can be somewhere else out there, but not a little kid's school. Nobody can drive into a church, right?
Right. Yeah. And I feel like it's hard too, because in my ward, in my congregation, we have just a lot of little kids that we've all kind of moved in recently. And there are still a lot of kids who, go to school and they get training there. They have to have these drills about an active shooter. But I just have these little babies. I have just a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old. And they don't, the day we found out and everything happened, I'm over here having a panic attack, and my 3-year-old's like, can I have a fruit snack?
Sure.
Like he has no idea what's going on. And I want to protect him from that. And I just don't know how.
3-year-olds you should protect, because they won't understand.
Yeah.
And that makes it almost scarier, right? I can tell my 15-year-old, if something happens, here's what I want you to do. I could tell my 9-year-old that. 3-year-old, you just see that innocence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a few things. We're not going to solve it all here on this call, but I want to give you some direction, okay? This is an ad for BetterHelp. I talk to hurting people for a living, and yes, I can help out folks in tiny chunks of time here on the internets, but often more help is needed. That's why I recommend people go to therapy. And if you're thinking about therapy, try BetterHelp. It's 100% online, so it's affordable and convenient. They've got over 30,000 therapists, and they're great at finding just the right one for you. Visit betterhelp.com/Delony for 10% off your first month. We're not going to solve it all here on this call, but I want to give you some direction, okay?
Yeah, that'd be great.
First and foremost, you are not crazy. Anybody who rolls into church this upcoming Sunday should have that little tinge of fear in their chest.
Yeah.
Okay? And everyone should feel that. The second thing is you have to decide, am I going to go or not?
I mean, I want to go.
Okay.
I mean, our leaders here in our local congregations have been so gracious. And, they said, if you don't want to come, we're going to have virtual, we'll have it on Zoom. Like, there's no pressure. Everyone is welcome. But if you stay home, they're so compassionate and so understanding.
Sure.
So, but if I can, I want to go.
For me personally, it's been very important that I get up and leave my house.
Yeah.
Because that's how my body is going to be reminded that that's not the way of the world. I mean, violence is a way of the world. Let me say it like that. But that every church that's not happening to.
Right.
Statistically speaking, that's not going to happen to you. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that leads me to the next thing. Rumination feels like productive thinking. Going over and over, what would you do if that happened? And I would do this, and then that would happen. It feels like you're almost pre-planning, and you're not. What you're doing is you're setting your body on fire from the inside out. It doesn't know the difference between a real event and a mother imagining grabbing her 3 kids and not being able to find the youngest one.
Yeah.
So it just dumps the same response chemicals into your bloodstream and says it's time to go. And so it's you, when that thought pops in your head, it's you literally catching it and saying out loud or yelling if you're by yourself, no. And then having a next picture that you can immediately backfill it with, which is one of everybody greeting you walking into church or walking out of church or holding all 3 of your babies, having a photo in your mind that you can immediately go to. And over time, that plus a choice to not ruminate. You can't help it when that lightning bolt strikes. When that image of, oh my gosh, there's a car coming through the wall, right? Or there's a shooter walking, like you can't control that. It will hit you.
Yeah.
And it is important to have some idea of a plan, right?
Right.
My dad used to do nuclear weapon drills when he was a kid. He grew up in Houston, and they had nukes in Cuba pointed right at the U.S., and so they would make them do drills. So this isn't a new thing. I hate the fact that my daughter has to have active shooter or active lockdown or what they call bad guy drills. I hate that with all of my guts. And also that's kind of been what's happening for a long time. Right? And if I step out of it, I've been doing tornado drills and hurricane drills and fire. Like it's this idea that we're kind of sold a bill of goods that we can all be protected. And we can't. There might be a windstorm that comes from the sky and knocks a building over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A bad guy can walk in the front door. And so some of it is exhaling and saying, I have some idea of a plan. And also knowing that no pre-plan, they call it the known knowns and the unknown knowns and then the unknown unknowns. Like, you don't know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm going to do the next right thing. The day after Charlie Kirk died, I went and found an event to go to with people that I normally wouldn't, that I wouldn't have gone to otherwise. And it ended up being a magical, magical evening because I realized, we're all on the same page.
That's awesome.
I drove my daughter to school right after that shooting because I wanted my body to experience this is a safe place for my kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I also love them and know I can't protect them all the time, even though that's my one job and it keeps me up at night sometimes, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you've got this, the illusion of safety is gone, and now I get to decide whether I'm going to meditate on it and scroll through it and read everything about whatever they're reporting, which, by the way, I've been in enough investigations behind closed doors, not criminal investigations, but enough like digging into stuff that whatever they put on the table is often not real. So I can do that and have all these conspiracy theories. I can do that, or I know that happened. I know it's a tragedy. I can go be a part of loving people well in that community or in my community.
Yeah.
And then I can make a choice. Am I going to go?
Yeah.
And then as safely as I can go, I'm going to walk in the front door with my head held high, holding my kids. And by the way, living in fear doesn't mean that you're not scared. Living in fear doesn't mean some days you just wake up and say, we're not going to go today.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm around people of faith a lot, and they're like, like literally recovering from trauma, and they're like, well, I don't want to live in fear. That's not living in fear. That's healing. That's grief, right? You need to go see a counselor. That's not living in fear. Waking up one day and being like, hey, it's too much today. I'm not going to go. It's patterns over time when you're like, hey, I'm letting this outside thing, this event or these events dictate every step I make, and I'm not going to give them that kind of power.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is just not let it.
You can't.
I don't want it to
You
have
can't.
that. Oh,
you
well,
can't.
Okay then.
Don't try to not let it.
Okay.
Because what you're doing is you're still giving it the power. Don't fight it. Walk right through it. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. It's just hard to. Yeah, it's hard to do. Just
it is.
Just because I've been going to church every Sunday for my whole life, forever, and so like it's never like, even during the pandemic when we couldn't go, like that was really hard. But it was kind of like, oh, like the whole world isn't going, like nobody's going. So it was a little easier to say, like, you know what, I just don't feel up to it. I'm going to stay back. But with this, like, and like I said, I don't think anybody would think poorly of me if I decided not to go. But it's like, man, it's just such a knee-jerk response that I'm scared that I would think poorly of myself if I chose not to go.
Okay. Why don't you take a week off?
That would be, I mean, we kind of did. This last weekend, our whole worldwide church has every 6 months we do just a big broadcast. So it's kind of the same thing. Nobody goes to church. We all just watch this broadcast from home.
Yeah,
so
but that's cheating.
Oh, okay.
What if you planned this Sunday morning, I'm going to take my kids out for breakfast. We're going to go have a gratitude breakfast, and we're all going to talk about the things we're grateful for. Your 3-year-old will babble, your 2-year-old will just stare up into space, and your 1-year-old will just pee everywhere. But like or maybe it's just you and your husband. We're just going to have a gratitude breakfast. I got my bell rung in a boxing match, and I just need to go to the corner for a minute.
Okay.
Because you're putting a ton of pressure on yourself to be okay in a moment when you're not okay.
Yeah.
And the way to give yourself, the way to prove to yourself that you're worthy of being trusted is listening to yourself. And right now your body's telling you, I need a minute. It's okay. That's not a statement of your faith. That's not a statement of your weakness. That's not a statement of your fear. That's a statement of you honoring, being a good steward of the mind and body that God gave you.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why, but it always feels better when someone tells me I'm being a steward. I just feel like it is less, like, I don't know, it gives me responsibility, but it's not...
Agency. It gives you agency.
I love agency.
I know. And it may be worth going back and looking, how much agency have you given away over the years to your parents, to your church, to all these other things.
Yeah.
That have been telling you should, you have to, you should. And then putting your own fist in your chest and saying, today, the right thing for me is. Looking at your husband and saying, hey, today, the right thing for us is. Now, if you do this forever, when you know in your guts, I want to go in that building, but now I'm scared to, then you begin to transition over to living in fear. I'm going to not do a thing that I know is good for me, that I want to be a part of, that I want my family to be a part of, because it makes me feel uncomfortable, right?
Right.
And so, but right now, it's like a runner stepped off the curb wrong and blew their knee out. It makes sense. You got to take a break. You got to heal. And then if you're scared to ever jog again, even though it made you feel good, it kept your body healthy, it cleared your mind, but I'm afraid I'm going to make a wrong step, then that's living in fear. That's not where you're at right now. And for everybody listening, there has been, from the woman on the train to the shooting with Charlie to the person driving through church, through the international conflicts, and I'm missing some here, so people are going to send me mean things. You didn't say. You're right. Like the political violence, the politician in Minnesota. Like it just keeps going on and on and on. And I guess the big picture thing here is is a couple of things. One, violence like this has been going on forever. We just didn't have every second of every angle and every commenter making every comment in our minds, in our faces, in our ears 24/7, 365. It is up to us to get the information and turn it off. The second thing all of this forces us to do is ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want? And for us in the U.S., we get a vote. We get to make a vote locally, statewide, and nationally. We get to decide, do we want to live in this world? And how do we want this thing to look? Other countries don't get that privilege. We do. We get that choice on 50 million different issues. And the final thing is we have to ask ourselves, what is right and good for us? And even when it's scary or hard, are we going to go anyway? I cannot tell you, as a public figure, a guy who's out on stages all over the world, all over the world, all over the country, how scary this has been. And I can't tell you how healing it was to roll into a comedy club to see a comic that normally I wouldn't go see, in a room full of hundreds of strangers, everybody united. And I was like, oh, this is where I live. Most people are good. I need to spend more time here with real people. People leaning over to let people by, people paying for each other's drinks, people opening the door for each other, people saying, excuse me, I'm so sorry for bumping you. Humans interacting with humans. And that's at a comedy club, that's at a local church, that's on a hike with your friend. That is real life. I think with all my guts, that's the path forward for all of us, is to be around real people in the world. Remembering we're all on the same team here. Thank you for the call, Phoebe. I'm really grateful that you reached out. Take a weekend off, regroup with your husband. Feel the fear next time you're rolling into church. Feel uncomfortable. And if it's right for y'all, go in anyway. And remember, rumination is a waste of time. It feels like helpful thinking. It's not. It's protective thinking.